You've probably heard the buzzword everywhere, longevity. It's this quest to not just live longer, but to live better for longer. But as technology starts promising to extend our lives in amazing ways, it's making us ask some pretty deep questions. Are we chasing a longer life at the expense of actually living a good one? So let's get into it. That's a huge idea, right? The dream that we could treat aging not as something that just happens, but as a problem that we can actually solve. This is the core promise of the whole longevity movement. And honestly, it's a total game changer for how we think about our lives and our bodies. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll look at this new quest for immortality. Then we'll dig into what happens when health becomes a product. After that, we'll talk about the pressure to be perfect, and we'll wrap up by looking at why health is really a public good. Okay, first up, the excitement around longevity is, well, it's everywhere. Technology is racing ahead, and it's changing what we think is even possible for the human body. But before we go any further, we've got to be really clear on two key terms. So, lifespan and health span, they sound similar, but the difference is everything. Lifespan, that's just the total number of years you're alive. Simple. But health span, that's the good stuff. That's how many of those years you're actually healthy and feeling good, without major illness. The real goal here isn't just about extending your lifespan, it's about making sure your health span stretches right along with it. And get this, 10 years. That's the gap we're talking about. And it is a huge problem. Take a country like Thailand, for instance. The average person might live to be about 77, but their health span, it's only 67. Think about that. That's a full decade, on average, spent dealing with poor health. That's the gap everyone's trying to fix. And this really gets to the heart of a huge shift in how we think, summed up perfectly by the historian Yuval Noah Harari. Forever, we've just accepted that aging and death, well, they just happen, right? It's natural. But the new thinking, it's completely different. It says, no, death is basically a technical problem. It's like a bug in our biological software that we can eventually figure out how to fix. Okay, so if you start thinking like that, what comes next? Well, if death is just a technical problem, then good health becomes the technical solution. And what happens to technical solutions in our world? Yep, they get turned into products. You can buy them. And this is where things start to get tricky. Hamari has this really stark warning about this. He says it could create the biggest gap between the rich and poor we've ever seen. Think about it. If all the super advanced stuff, we're talking gene editing, crazy diagnostics, all that biohacking is only for the rich, they won't just have nicer stuff, they'll literally have more life. Your health could become the new Rolex, a sign of your status, creating this kind of biological aristocracy. This isn't a totally new idea. A thinker named Ivan Illich was talking about this way back. He had a great term for it, medicalization. It's basically when we take something totally normal, like just getting older, and we turn it into a medical problem. Suddenly, something that was just a part of life now needs a diagnosis, it needs to be tracked, it needs a treatment, and usually that treatment is something you have to pay for. So this all begs a really important question, right? For you, for me, for all of us. When you've got your watch, your phone, your doctor all throwing data at you, telling you what's optimal, do we forget how to just listen to our own bodies? It's like we start outsourcing our own intuition. We stop trusting our ability to just check in and ask, hey, how am I feeling? And actually believe the answer. And this pressure, it's not just financial. It's mental, it gets in your head, because once health stops being about well-being and starts being a goal you have to hit, it can just become one more thing to be anxious about, one more race to win in our already crazy busy lives. There's this philosopher, Byung-Chul Han, who talks about us living in a burnout society. His point is that we're always pushing ourselves to perform, to achieve more. We're basically our own bosses, and we're really tough bosses. And now health is getting sucked into that. It's not just about feeling good anymore. Nope, it's a project. It's another set of numbers to crunch, another thing to optimize, another contest we've got to come out on top of. And that really makes you wonder, what kind of happiness are we even after? So much of the longevity trend is about chasing that dopamine hit, right? The thrill you get when you crush a workout goal or when an app tells you your biological age went down. And that feels great for a minute, but it's fleeting. And the danger is that we chase that so hard, we forget about the other kind of happiness, the serotonin kind. That quiet, steady feeling of just being content, of accepting where you are and feeling good. That's a totally different thing. The author Barbara Ehrenreich, she just nailed this. She basically said that this whole obsession with trying to cheat death and aging, it's a total trap. When you're so focused on not dying, you forget to actually live. It's a game you literally can't win. And the irony is, all the stress from trying to win this unwinnable game, it might just be worse for you than a lot of the stuff you're so scared of. Okay, so if we're saying health isn't just another personal project to perfect, then what is it? Well, to answer that, we have to zoom out. We have to completely reframe the conversation. We need to shift from thinking about it as just my responsibility to thinking about it as our responsibility. And here's the core idea, and it's so simple but so important. Your health does not exist in a bubble. You can be the most disciplined person on the planet, but at the end of the day, your health is deeply connected to the world around you. Where you live, what you do for work, the whole system you're a part of. The World Health Organization has a name for this: the social determinants of health. And it just makes sense when you think about it. Like, how easy is it to go for a walk if your neighborhood doesn't even have sidewalks or a safe park? How are you supposed to manage stress if your job has you working insane hours? How can you eat healthy if the junk food is cheap and the good stuff is expensive? A lot of the time, these big factors matter way more than our individual willpower. This links up perfectly with an incredible idea from the Nobel-winning economist Amartya Sen. He said, look, the measure of a great society isn't just about how much money it makes, it's GDP. The real goal is to give people more freedom, the freedom to live a life they actually value. And what's one of the biggest things that limits your freedom? Being in poor health. So for Sen, a truly developed country is one where everyone, not just the wealthy, has a real shot at being healthy. So what's the takeaway? It's that we can actually build a healthier society. This isn't some fantasy. It's about real, practical stuff. It's about designing cities for people, with parks and bike lanes. It's about making sure healthy food is actually affordable and easy to get. It means having labor laws that respect work-life balance. And it's about shifting public health to focus on preventing problems in the first place, not just treating them after the fact. Really, it all comes down to one thing: making the healthy choice the easy choice for everybody. Which brings us to a final and pretty big question we all have to face. As we keep pushing for longer lives, what's the end game? Are we building a future where good health is basically a luxury product, something you buy if you can afford it? Or are we trying to build a society where the chance to live a long, healthy, meaningful life is something that belongs to everyone? At the end of the day, that choice is up to us.